Hi everyone, myself Dr. P. Ashok Babu. In this video, I am going to discuss about the magnetic boundary conditions. So in previous classes, videos, already we have discussed about the electric boundary conditions. Now I am going to discuss about the magnetic boundary conditions. Same as electric boundary conditions, we have magnetic boundary conditions. So here we define magnetic boundary conditions as the conditions, the magnetic boundary conditions as the conditions that the magnetic field intensity H or the magnetic flux density B field must satisfy at the boundary between two different media, which is known as a magnetic boundary conditions, or the boundary that should satisfy both the magnetic field intensity and magnetic flux density are known as the boundary conditions. So here to define the to derive the magnetic boundary conditions, here we need to assume the two losses. So here we know that the two losses are integral are two Maxwell equations. So here the two Maxwell equations are, it is integral B into ds equal to 0. Let us assume equation 1, and Ampere circuit law second one is integral H into dl is equal to I. So assume two equations to define the magnetic boundary conditions. So here consider the boundary conditions. Consider the boundary conditions between two magnetic media 1 and 2. Let us assume there are two media, media 1 and media 2. So for each is having each one is characterized by mu1 and mu2, two permittivities. So here to assume that, to find out that, assume the two figures. Let us go through the two figures, first figure and second figure. The first figure is used to find the magnetic flux density B. Second figure is used to find the magnetic field intensity H. So here let us assume the first figure. So in first figure, assume a pill box. So here assume a cylindrical pill box to find out the magnetic flux density. To find out the magnetic flux density, assume a cylindrical pill box. While finding the boundary conditions, here it is a delta H and delta S is there. Delta S is a surface area and delta H is a height of the cylindrical pill box. You assume delta H tends to 0. Assume delta H tends to 0 when you are finding the boundary conditions. And here in this one, you assume a tangential path. So B1D is a tangential path and B1N is a normal to the boundary. So the resultant will give the B1. So it is a media 1 which is having the mu1. It is media 2 which is having the permittivity mu2. Assume the two medias like that. So in second media, so here it is B2D is a tangential path and B2N is a normal one. The resultant of these two will give the B2. Okay, so here to find out the magnetic flux density, here I am assuming delta H tends to 0. So when delta H tends to 0, so here the two surfaces of a pill box, cylindrical pill box touches at the boundary. When the two surfaces of a cylindrical pill boxes touches at the boundary, here we can write the expression as it is, so B1N, normal one, B1N delta S minus B2N delta S is equal to 0. This is the expression when when these two surfaces touches at the boundary. Let us assume these touching at the boundary and the bottom one also touches at the boundary. When these two touches at the boundary, we can write the expression as B1N. B1N is a normal one into delta S is the area of the surface pill box minus B2N into delta S equal to 0. Or we can write B1N is equal to B2N. You can write the B1N equal to B2N. By using, we know that B is equal to mu H. Because B is equal to mu H, we can write B1N is equal to mu1 into H1N. B2N is equal to mu2 into H2N. So let us do it as equation 1. So here the above equation shows that the normal component of B is continuous at the boundary. It also shows that the normal component of H is discontinuous at the boundary. Therefore, the H undergoes some changes at the interface. Let us assume this equation mu1 H1N equal to mu2 H2N. For different media, mu1 is not equal to mu2. Let us assume two different medias where for two different medias, mu1 is not equal to mu2. When mu1 is not equal to mu2, this equation is not satisfies. This equation not satisfied. Therefore, mu1 h11 h1n is not equal to mu2 h2n. Therefore, we can conclude that the magnetic field intensity H is discontinuous at the boundary. The magnetic field intensity H is discontinuous at the boundary. Therefore, H undergoes some changes at the interface. So this is about the first one. Next one, similarly, we can find out the magnetic field intensity from the second one. To find out the magnetic field intensity from the second one, we need to apply the second equation. The second equation is, so here it is, line integral H into dl is equal to I. So it is an Ampere circuit law. Ampere circuit law. A line integral H into dl equal to I means current enclosed in the circuit. So to find out that, here also assume a rectangular box. Assume a rectangular box at the boundary. So which is having A, B, C, D, and which is having the width delta W and is having the height delta H, and which is also having the current element K, which is also having the current element K, because in magnetic field the charge is moving with some velocity. So we need to consider the current element K. And here coming to this one, so here the H1T is the tangential component of magnetic field intensity. H1N is the normal component of the magnetic field intensity. So resultant of these two will use the H1. So here also in media 2, let us do media 2. In media 2, H22 is the magnetic field intensity of second tangential component of magnetic field intensity in media 2. Then H2N is the normal component of a magnetic field intensity. The resultant of these two will use the H2. Resultant of these two will use the H2. So here I am assuming a rectangular pillbox to find out the magnetic field intensity. So similarly, we can apply the equation 2 to the closed path A, B, C, D, A. That is nothing but rectangular box A, B, C, D. So here I am applying second equation to the, it is media 1, it is media 2. I am applying second equation to the rectangular pillbox. So where the surface current K on the boundary is assumed to the path, because the current is moving with some velocity, we need to assume a current element, surface current K. So therefore the surface current K into delta W, because the width is, so it is a width, it is a height. So it covers total width. Therefore we need to assume the K into delta W, K into delta W, and we are applying the second equation to the total rectangular box. So when we are applying Maxwell equation to the second box, rectangular box, so here it is a surface AB is there, which is in media 2, surface CD is in media 2. Surface AB is in media 1, CD is in media 2. So here we need to assume AB as positive and CD negative, or we can assume AB negative, CD positive, like that. And similarly, we can assume B, C are the positive, D to A is a negative. The path A to B is positive, B to C is positive. And I am assuming the path C to D is negative and D to A is a negative. Like that I am assuming. Therefore, the equation is here H1T into delta W, first one. H1T into delta W, H1T into delta W plus, so here this one BC is the normal path, normal component. So here the normal component is in, so half of the part is in positive media 1 and half of the component is in media 2. Therefore, it is H1N into delta H by 2, because the total height is delta H. So it is H1N into delta H by 2 plus this part, second part is H2N into delta H by 2. Next, minus H2D into delta W. Minus, so here from the path from D to A is again, you need to assume negative. Half of the path is in second media and half of the path is media 1. Therefore, it is H1N delta H by 2 minus H2N into delta H by 2. So here we can cancel the negative terms and positive terms. H1N into delta H by 2 is cancelled with H1N into delta H by 2. Similarly, H2N into delta H by 2 cancel with H2N into delta H by 2. Therefore, the equation becomes K into delta W is equal to H1T minus H2D into delta W. We can cancel the delta W on both sides. Therefore, the equation becomes H1T minus H2D is equal to some constant K. So, because we know that B is equal to mu H we can write the expression as B1t by mu1 minus B2t by mu2 is equal to some current element K. So next, so here we can, as a special case, we can assume the, if the boundary is free of current or the media are not conductors, the media is not having the conductors. So if there is no conductor means we can assume the current element K is equal to 0. Therefore the equation becomes, it is H1t minus H2t is equal to actually current K. Therefore when current K is equal to B0, because it is not a conductor, when it is not a conductor, the current is 0, automatically the current element K becomes 0. Therefore H1t minus H2t is equal to 0. Therefore we can write H1t is equal to H2t. H1t is equal to H2t. Because B is equal to mu H, we can write B1t by mu1 is equal to B2t by mu2. Therefore we can conclude that the tangential component of H is continuous. The tangential component of H is continuous, while that of the magnetic field, the tangential component of the magnetic flux density is discontinuous at the boundary. We can conclude that the tangential component of magnetic field intensity is continuous at the boundary, and the tangential component of magnetic flux density is discontinuous at the boundary. So here, because for different medias, why it is means for different medias mu1 is not equal to mu2. When mu1 is not equal to mu2, B1t by mu1 is not equal to B2t by mu2. Therefore, the tangential component of magnetic flux density is discontinuous at the boundary. Now we will find out the some relation by using that figure. We will find out the Snell's law by using that relation. So here, to find out that, you will go back to the figure. So from figure here, there is some theta 1 is there and theta 2 is there. So here we can find out the B1 by B1n, or sorry, B1n by, where B1 is the hypotenuse and B1n is the adjacent side. So here it is B1t is the opposite side. So here I am writing, so it is B1n by B1n by, so here I am writing B1n by B1 is equal to cos theta 1, because it is the adjacent side. And similarly B2n by B2 is equal to cos theta 2. It means B1n by B1 equal to cos theta 1. See the figure. B1n by B1, B1n by B1, adjacent by hypotenuse. B1n by B1 will use the cos of that angle. Similarly, B2n by B2, B2n by B2 will use the cos of the angle. Therefore, so it becomes B1n equal to B2n, which is equal to B1 cos theta 1, B2 cos theta 2. Similarly, we can find out the we can apply the same for the second one also. So I'm next one I am finding the H21t by, here it is H1t by H1 is equal to sin theta 1 from the figure, and H2t by H2 is equal to sin theta 2 from the figure. So from figure you can observe that H1t, so here is H1t is there, H1t opposite by hypotenuse will give the sine of the angle. So here also opposite by hypotenuse, H2t by H2 will give the opposite one, cos the sin theta 2, H2t by H2 will use the sin theta 2. Similarly here H1t by H1 will use the sin theta 1. For here we can write H1t by H1 equal to sin theta 1. Here you can write H1t is equal to H1 sin theta 1, H2t is equal to H2 sin theta 2. And here it can be expressed as, it is in place of H1, here I am writing B1 by mu1 sin theta 1 is equal to, here in place of H2 I am writing B2 by mu2 sin theta 2. So here if you divide the equation 4 with equation 5 with equation 4, it is B1 sin theta 1 by mu1 B1 cos theta 1, B is equal to B2 sin theta 2 by mu2 B2 into cos theta 2. So B2 cancel each other, B1 cancel each other. Sin theta 1 by cos theta 1 is tan theta 1, tan theta 1 by mu1 is equal to, so here sin theta 2 by cos theta 2, tan theta 2 by mu2. So tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 will becomes the mu1 by mu2. So which is the law of refraction, which is known as the law of refraction for magnetic flux lines at the boundary. at the boundary with no surface current, with no surface current. So this is known as a law of refraction for magnetic field intensity or magnetic flux lines. Okay, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.